Got to give the people, get the people what they wicked want. Boom. Mr. Bass got the little remix right there. You are going to need your notes today, so go ahead and grab the packet of notes. So most of this is going to be done here, not in your notebooks, right? Don't forget to post the picture of your completed notes. So we are going to look at concavity. So concave up. If I have something that's concave up, basically that just means I have the parabola that's opening upwards, okay? Opens up. If I have something that's concave down, I have that parabola that opens towards the bottom. Open down, okay? So just write those in. Those are pretty easy, okay? So this is example. This would be a concave up over here. This would be a concave down right over here. You have that in. I don't think you all should have any problems with that part. Now, let's talk about the point of inflection. All right, so when we're looking over here, the inflection point is kind of the place where the graph changes. So if we're looking at this graph right here, all right, all of this is concave up, right? It's opening upward here, okay? So that's concave up. But notice about the halfway point. So I'm going to change my color right here. Boom, boom, boom. Give me a new color. About this halfway point right here. So in red, this is where it starts to become concave down, right? It's like opening downwards. And notice at this halfway point right here, so I'm going to put that in blue. Again, it starts to become concave up. So let's label these. So this is up, the red is down, and the blue is up. So you should hopefully have 3 different colors in your notes. The point of inflection. I'm going to get rid of that so you can see everything else. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so the point of inflection, which we will call point of inflection, is the spot where it changes from up to down. So point of inflection would be here, right? And the point of inflection would be right here. We'll talk about how to algebraically find it, but right now just understand that's where it is. It's like the point where it changes from up to down. So if they say, use the graph to determine the intervals of concavity, state the points of inflection. All right, my concave up goes from negative infinity all the way down here to here, right? And this is my x values. Remember, we were talking about x values, okay? So it goes from negative infinity all the way to negative 0.5. That part is where it is concave up. The other part where it's concave up is from here all the way to infinity, right? This piece right here. So it goes from, let's see, 3 on the x-axis all the way, because remember this would keep going forever, all the way to infinity. Those are the places where it is concave up. Boom. Let's erase that. You don't need to erase, but I am. Now, let's talk about concave down. Why don't you write the interval where you believe this is concave down? Cool, you just did it. Hopefully you're like, okay, it's coming from here to here. So on that x-axis, it is from 0.5, and excuse me, that's negative 0.5, all the way to 3. This is the piece here where it is concave down. All right, I'm gonna replace that. And then it asks, what are the points of inflection? You should already know. So give me 2 ordered pair. There are 2 points of inflection. What are they? Cool. So notice these are x, y coordinates because they are points. You already did it. You were like, oh yeah, this is easy, Bass, easy work. What is this? Negative Negative 0.5 comma negative 3 is one of them, this right here. And the other one, this right here, was at 3, 1. Boom. Now, this function at the right is shown. It has labeled kind of the relative extrema. So, right, this has a max right here. It has a min right here. We're trying to find the point of inflection. So, to find, I'm going to go POI, point of inflection. I use the average between the two x values. Okay? So to find the point of inflection, I'm going to use the average between the two x values. Okay? So, this point of inflection, let's see. I have, and it makes sense, right? If this is the low, this is the high, it's kind of what's like right in the middle of those two. So I have negative 2, that's my max, plus 1, that's my mid. All right, so those are my x values. I divided by 2, so negative 2 plus 1 is 1/2. Okay, so my point of inflection has an x value of 1/2, which makes sense. If I look at the point of inflection, let me go ahead and erase this so you can see it again. If I look at my point of inflection, it looks like it's right here. This is 1. This is, excuse me, it's supposed to be a negative 1/2. That's about a negative 1/2. It looks like that works. Now all I got to do is find the y value. Well, how do I do that? If I know what the equation is, go back here. I know what the equation is. I just plug in my x value, and I can figure out the y value. So I'm going to plug 1/2 into that big old ugly equation. So I'm going to take, let's see, y equals f of x, which is the same as y. 2 times negative 1/2. Let me make this bigger. 2 times negative 1/2 to the third power plus 3 times negative 1/2 to the second power minus 12 times negative 1/2 minus 4. I'm plugging in my x value that I found, and I'm solving for y. Okay, why don't you go ahead and finish that off right now? Hopefully you paused and you tried to do that. Negative 1/2 to the third power is negative 1/8 plus. We have 3 times negative 1/2 to the second power is 1/4 minus 12 times negative 1/2, which is actually, let me undo that. 12 times negative 1/2, which is 6. Because this is a negative 12 times negative 1/2 minus 4. Do I have any extra space? I only have a little bit. So let's do this. When I simplify all of this, I should end up with, why don't you simplify that whole thing right there? You should end up with all of that equaling 5/2. So f of negative 1/2 equals 5/2, which means my y value is 5/2. Okay? So my point of inflection is when x is negative 1/2, y happens to be 5/2. Boom, boom. Last thing. Oh, wait. I think that's it. I did it. I did it. I did it. Congratulations. You made it through. Make sure you take a picture of the work that you have for this one. Go ahead and get that whole bad boy up on Google Classroom, and we will practice this in class tomorrow. Mr. Bass, I'm out.